Hello folks, and welcome once again to EPD Media YouTube channel. Our objective on this channel is to promote TVET and ICT related skill acquisition and education, that is technical vocational education, and ICT and skills acquisition, as well as businesses related to TVET. Today I'm going to be talking about an important TVET related skill, that is metal fabrication. I had an experience with somebody. He had this metal fabrication done to some aspect of his house, and there was a problem with it, and so that led me into researching, and there were a few things that I found that I think would be very interesting to share on this channel. But before I continue, I would like to implore you, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so now. To subscribe, just click on the red subscription button below down at the corner there, then click on the notification bell. And anytime we upload any new video related to TVET skill acquisition and education, or any TVET related business, you will be informed immediately. So now let's delve into metal fabrication, what everybody should know about metal fabrication. A friend put up a house and had some metal fabrication done to improve the quality of his house, the value of his house. Metal fabrication with regards to the gates, aesthetics on the walls, and of course in the windows as burglar proof. But then he realized that after a few years, some of the metals began to rust, in spite of the fact that they were painted, especially those in the bathroom and places where there was constant use of water. Interestingly, there were some parts of the metals that were not rusting, and these were metals done by a different fabricator. So he got in touch and wanted to know what was happening. We were discussing, and then the issue came up. So I went to have a look and was enthused by the fact that different metal fabrication done by two different people, one was rusting and the other was not. So I did some research and found out that, as usual, as I keep on saying, there is a lot of information on the internet about any TVET related subject that you want to pursue. In Ghana and in many other African countries, metal fabrication is becoming a very fast growing industry where people are getting to different aspects of metal fabrication, and it is a good place to start a business. For those who cannot afford to have the formal training in metal fabrication, as I keep on saying, the internet is a vast resource where you can learn so many things about metal fabrication, either for a beginner or somebody who is already in metal fabrication, and even for those of us who are not interested in metal fabrication but will be needing the services of metal fabricators. So based on this issue from my friend who had a problem with the metal fabrications in his house, I decided to do a little research and found out very interesting things that I would like to share with everybody. There are various different metals that you need to be aware of, and you need to know what each does, or what kind of jobs are best suited for which kind of metals. We have the iron, we have aluminium, we have steel, we have copper, we have zinc, we have brass, we have lead, we have tin, we have titanium, alloy steel, stainless steel, and all manner of steel. There are about 18 or more different types of metal that can be used for different aspects of any metal fabrication. So for somebody who is starting or interested in metal fabrication as a career, these are basic things you need to know: the properties of each metal and what jobs or kind of job it is suited for. There are many interesting and very informative YouTube channels out there that provide information on metal fabrication for beginners. But one channel that I found interesting that provided a lot of insightful and very experienced opinion on metal fabrication is Miller Welders. They provide various and interesting insight into metal fabrication, basic information that everybody should have about metal fabrication, particularly those who are interested in pursuing a career as metal fabricators. there is another YouTube channel called the Tin Metal Welder. They provide insightful welding techniques that every welder or every metal fabricator should know. There's also information for people who are already in metal fabrication. In Ghana, one thing I've noticed is that once somebody comes out with a design, everybody begins to copy the same design. So it will be to your advantage to learn new ways of designing gates and burglar proofs or window grills so that your work looks different. And there are a lot of videos on the internet about different creative techniques or different creative metal welding designs that you can choose from to make your work very different. For those of us who are not metal fabricators, but in one way or the other will be using one metal fabricated material or product or the other, it is important that we also know about the different aspects or the different types of metals and what each is good at. If you engage a metal fabricator to make a window grill or a burglar proof for you, the more he or she knows that you know about metals, you know about the different kind of metals and what it is suited for, you know about the different properties of metals, chances are that he will do a much more thorough and better job for you. It's not only in metal fabrication, but in every other creative job. So this is what happened to my friend. He just ordered that a gate and other things be done for him for his house, and he really didn't care what metals were used. So the kind of metal that was used for him was the one that rusts easily, depending on the environment and area that you live in. A different kind of metal will be best suited for every environment. For instance, bright steel or stainless steel, is much more resistant to corrosion or rust. We have metals that are galvanized, which means they are coated or treated with materials that prevent rust. The most common metals used for gates or window grills or burglar proofs are steel or iron. There's matte steel, there's bright or stainless steel, and all these have different properties. The matte steel is usually what is most commonly used because it is malleable, you can bend it, and it can easily be cut and shaped into different forms. So that's what is used. Of course, iron can also be used where we see iron rods also being bent and used for different shapes and designs. But these metals are also susceptible to rust. Okay, so to prevent this, it can be galvanized, that is, can be coated with some zinc material so that this forms a kind of coating around the metal, so that it is not exposed to the element directly, and this prolongs the period of rust. You can also use bright or what we call stainless steel. This has a much longer time of rust, if at all, because it does not need to be coated. The material itself is anti-rust. But of course, the bright or stainless steel is much more expensive than the matte steel, whether it's galvanized or not. And of course, if it's not galvanized, that means it is susceptible to rust faster. And I think this is what was used in my friend's house. They just used the matte steel and then painted it with paint. So it will look nice, but immediately the paint begins to peel off, or any part of the metal is exposed to the element directly, it begins to rust. And this is what was used in my friend's house. Then, because he did not have much knowledge into metals, the properties of metal, the different types of metals, and what each is best suited for, or how to treat metal to prolong the element of rust, they just used some matte steel, did a nice aesthetic design for him, and then painted it and then installed it. But of course, after the paint peeled off, the material began to rust, and in no time at all, it was almost useless. So all these things are things that you need to know. I read somewhere that if you engage the services of anybody, it could be anybody in the creative industry, not necessarily a metal fabricator, but anybody else, The more they think or know that you have knowledge about their work, chances are that they will do a better job for you. In other words, if you engage a metal fabricator to fabricate either a gate or a window, a grill or burglar proof or any other metal fabrication for your house, the more you question the person about the kind of metal you use. Is it galvanized? Is it stainless steel? What do you think type of metal will be suitable for this kind of job in this kind of environment? The more they have an idea that you know your stuff about metals, chances are that they will do a better job for you. They will use the right kind of metal for whatever job it is that you want to be done. So it is very important that everybody, all of us, have an idea about whatever metals we want to be used for whatever metal fabricating job that we need done in our house. There are those that are soft, very malleable, and there are those that are hard and can withstand much more weight. And then there are the extremely strong metals and therefore very expensive, like titanium, for instance. Those are very strong metals and difficult to cut, difficult to bend, difficult to shape. So they are usually used for or used in high security zones, like in high security, maximum security prisons, to prevent breakouts. They are also used in vehicles for VVIPs. They are also very rust proof. So if you have situations where metals need to be used in the human body as in operations, like a broken bone, and then they need to use metals to hold the bones together, usually all those things are made of titanium because they do not rust and the body readily accepts those kind of metals. They are what they call the bio something. All this information is available on the internet for free. For those of you who are interested in starting a career in metal fabrication, which is an excellent avenue or career path to pursue, there's information for you for beginners. Even if you have not had any practical experience with it, you can start on the internet, and if possible you can then attach yourself to a master fabricator and then learn more techniques and skill and improve your skill on the job. For those who are already into metal fabrication, there are still a lot of videos on the internet about the different designs that are available for you to sample, or that can give you different ideas to make your work look extremely different. And for those of us who are not metal fabricators or may not engage in metal fabrication directly ourselves, we also need to learn certain information about metal fabrication, so that when the need arises for us to engage the services of any metal fabricator, we won't be taken for granted. Once they know that we know our stuff, chances are that they will give us a good job. So this is all I have for you today on metal fabrication. My next video will be on another aspect of TVET, or technical, vocational and ICT skill acquisition or education, or businesses. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so now. Just click on the subscription button, the red subscription button below, click on the notification bell, and that's it. You can also leave a comment on the comment section of this video. Tell me what you think about the information that everybody needs to know about metal fabrication. Do you think we all need to have information about metal fabrication or any other technical job that you want anybody to do for you? Do you think it is necessary that you have information about what it is that you need somebody to do for you? And of course, help share this video so that this video can get to as many people as possible, so those who are unemployed or searching for jobs can have ideas of the many opportunities that exist out there for them to be self-employed or to acquire the essential skills they need to get themselves some employment. Thank you very much. I'll see you again in my next video, and God bless.